So today's Conscious Parenting Lives is all about raising and educating children with ADHD. So I'm inspired to do this because I did an interview, which is a podcast interview, which you're going to want to check out as well. It is fantastic, with Hannah Ryan, where she shares her experience and recent ADHD diagnosis and how it was growing up for her, her experience within education and her experience within her family. And so I thought I would do this session so that those who follow this, the Conscious Parenting Lives, get this, and you can key into the full podcast as well. So, and I found it so moving. I found it, it was, Hannah she's funny, she's intelligent, she's very creative. So it was really great to have that conversation with her. And I was very, very moved by what she shared of her experience, and heartened actually, because for me, it really affirmed the work that I do. It really affirmed the ways in which I help families. And how very helpful that is when you're raising or educating children with ADHD. So yeah, massively inspired. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking there are some things that need to change, and that we need to be mindful of, which is, when children are kind of exhibiting traits that would be classed as ADHD, right? That we don't put them in a box, either as parents or as educators. So often, and in the past, and I don't know how much this still happens, but people can be classed as being naughty, or they're the disruptive kid, or stupid was one that Hannah mentioned, a troublemaker, seeing them in those ways and casting them in that role as stupid or a troublemaker or naughty. And within the work I do with parents, this is a big part of what we do, is we look at how we're perceiving our children, how we interact with our children, and helping them get freedom from being stuck in those particular roles that they've been cast in, and also working on how we see them. So I've worked with quite a few parents who have children with ADHD, or who have been having challenges, and then I find out later that their child has then been diagnosed with ADHD. And so that's one of the things. It's changing how we view them, but also supporting them to also not be viewing themselves, because that's so damaging, to think of yourself and grow up thinking you're stupid, or grow up thinking you're naughty, because you struggle to do things that other people are doing. And I think one of the big parts, so in the podcast interview, one of the things that we talked about was listening. So, this is something else that we need to look at when we're raising children or educating children with ADHD, is what active listening looks like. So I've been working around communication for many, many years, the whole of my career. And I've been working with people around parenting, specifically over the last 13 years. And one of the things, and for far longer in corporate settings and things, an active listening has always been a big part of learning and teaching about communication, about, how we communicate. But the definitions for active listening are very neurotypical, are based on, some of the things that might come up to show you're listening is to, look at somebody, to give them eye contact, to, and things like that. Now, so this is the thing, and Hannah talked about this, that somebody who with ADHD, they won't listen in that way. So the effort of making eye contact and showing that you're listening in a neurotypical way actually means they're listening less, because of the effort of that. So instead they might need to move or doodle or be doing other things that looks like they're not listening in that traditional kind of model. So I suppose this is where reasonable adjustments come in within education and awareness and educating ourselves on, and there are a lot, I am not an expert on ADHD, but educating ourselves on, what the traits are, educating ourselves on what that looks like, and then making sure that as parents, we're coming from that place of being able to meet our children where they're coming from and accepting them for who they are. And within education, having an awareness that it might not look like they're listening, but they're listening. So we don't need to be having a go at them for doodling, while you're explaining, or if they're not looking up, they might still be listening. They probably are listening, and just trusting that. So, a couple of things to think about there. And, I think some of this, I've just got some notes here, so I'm just referring to those as well. And I've put on my notes, what strikes me as cool is that adjustments that you might make for a child with ADHD can be beneficial for everyone. So, having different ways of learning, or having, learning be fun and creative and engaging. Well, that's going to help a child with ADHD, but it's also going to help all children. So neurotypical children benefit from adjustments that you might make to teaching styles, or to, how you're parenting as well. All your children will benefit from you being more fun and engaging with them, so it's a win-win. So that's a change in mindset, rather than seeing it as a burden, seeing it as, well, if it works for them, it's actually going to work for other people as well. So that's one of the things I wanted to share. And that comes down to this thing of, like, that I mentioned before, accepting our children for who they are and meeting them where they are. And that's the foundation of the work that I do. It's all about that, accepting our children for who they are and ourselves for who we are, and having that freedom and being conscious about and having an awareness of what that looks like and what that means within your family. And that really starts with listening. It starts with listening to them, getting them. So, the work that I do is about listening, and for our children feeling like we get them, we understand where they're coming from, we're on their side, and we advocate for them. And that's the same within education. We want educators to be allies to the children that they're serving, right? The children that they're supporting, and helping to create positive learning environments within which they can thrive and grow, So my computer's just gone off with my notes. So one of the thing that struck me, and it really made me want to cry when I was interviewing Hannah, was she talks about essentially, people didn't believe her when she was growing up. She felt like nobody was on her side. She felt like teachers didn't believe that she was trying really hard and doing her best. And instead of acknowledging that, you know, calling her stupid or naughty, and you know, sending her to the principal's office and all of these things. And you know, it starts with listening as parents and as educators, getting where the children are coming from, getting where our children are coming from, helping them know that we care about them, we love them, that we're on their side. It is massive. You know, and it just broke my heart listening to, she felt like nobody believed her. She felt like nobody was there for her, supported her. And that's not the experience we want for our young people, right? Now, within the work that I do, I work across 4 kind of pillars of transformation. So there's the, you know, the practical tools and support, which I've talked a little bit about in this here. Emotional and energetic support, which I've talked a little bit about as well, what that might look like. The mindset, ours and theirs, and I've talked a little bit about that, with how, you know, how we perceive our children and helping them perceive themselves in a positive light, you know, which is all going to boost their confidence, themselves, sense of self, and their self-worth, you know, which is all the work that I do. It does that for parents and children and educators. So and consistently working on the practical side of things, the energetic side, energetic and emotional side of things, the mindset side of things, consistently over time. And yeah, to get things working, to get these conscious parenting and living approaches really working. So what are you taking away from what I've shared today? Have a think about what I've shared today, what's landed with you, and how can you apply this idea of listening to your child, the children who you work with, and really getting where they're coming from and advocating for them. What are some ways that you could do that? Have a think about that. And I'd love to hear in the comments, you know, what comes up for you, what comes into your head of what ways you can do that. Yeah. Now, I just wanted to finish up by letting you know who I am, because I know lots of people won't know who I am. I'm Sarah Parks. I'm the host of this is my channel, and this is the Conscious Parenting lives that I share on here. And I'm a mum, and I'm really, really passionate about communication. I have been my whole life, and helping and living in a conscious way, an awakened way. I'm passionate about us being able to be wholly ourselves, and from this place bring our gifts into the world, key into our passions and our purpose for us as parents, as educators, and support the children who are in our lives to be able to do that. So it's the things that I share are all around conscious parenting and conscious living, conscious parenting, conscious living, conscious business, about living our lives in an awakened way and tapping into our unique genius, you know, our unique gifts that we are here to bring. So like I say, I am not a specialist in ADHD. I am a parenting specialist, having worked in this field for the last 13 years. and I'm a specialist in the approaches that I use and share. I'm also an accredited relational dynamics coach as well. So I, yeah, that's since 2010. So that's who I am. And, you know, I don't know everything there is to know about this, but I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you to help you see things a bit differently, to key into some things, to go and check out the podcast with Hannah. She is an expert in ADHD in terms of her lived experience. So that interview is amazing to listen to, and if you'll be able to see the link somewhere below this video, so you can go check that out. And you know, I share tips on here as well, so you can subscribe to this channel for those. And I also, you know, have a messenger channel where I let you know these are coming out, where I share free resources and all kinds of things. So, you know, the link is below here. You can key into that as well. And, you know, if you are wanting support with a child with ADHD, and you're wanting to support, when I've worked with families with children who either have ADHD or have been diagnosed after we've worked together, one of the things that can come up is big emotions and, you know, emotional regulation that I really support with. So, you know, you can book a managing emotions call with me, or my 4 steps to help your child manage their big emotions is also great for that. And I do a bundle, so if you message me or comment under here, I can let you know the link for the bundle where you get the support series and one-to-one as well. And of course, I work with people over a 3-month period or a 12-month period as well. So, you know, if you're wanting one-to-one or 2-to-1 support, that's available as well. So those are some of the ways that you can work with me and have support from me. So, yeah, tune in for next week's live, and you can check out some of the others on the channel as well. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.